Gun drawn as MCAs caused trouble again. Shots were fired and police called in as chaos broke out in the Kisumu County Assembly for the second time. This is not the first time that you're seeing situations like this in the county assemblies. Just the other day, I think last week, there was an exchange that led to even to injuring of some of the journalists that were covering Nyandarua County Assembly, because there's a disagreement between the County Assembly Speaker and the MCAs in as far as the leadership of that house is concerned. And I'm just wondering what is happening to the assemblies. Why are they not able to resolve the conflicts that they may have in a calm way without causing the kind of conflict that we see? And I want to begin with you, Senator.
Yeah, Gituko, I think is, in my view, a failure on our side to understand who we are. When you are elected as a member of parliament or a member of a county assembly, there are standards of behavior that you must exhibit, because we also have a constitution on duty to behave in a manner and conduct ourselves in a manner that brings honor to that particular office. So when we do not appreciate that we are mirror, the people have a lot of expectation on us and behave in a very shameful kind of ways. When the small children of this country are looking at us, or anybody else that sees us as models or as people that can be relied on for advice or for leadership or for mentorship by any growing Kenyan, it is very sad, it is very shameful. I would want to ask anybody to understand that the positions that we own them in trust of the people of the Republic of Kenya. And we cannot really afford to continue with this kind of behavior. And if we have to really maintain the honor, even of the institution itself, surely this kind of is unacceptable. This kind of behavior is completely unacceptable. So I think the various institutions must come up also with a kind of a curriculum where you'll have to teach, where people must be taught how to behave. You know, when elections are called, I believe in the principle of democracy, where people must choose whoever they want to represent them. But when you have chosen, you must go certain through classes of etiquette. Class how you must be taught how to behave when in certain places. If you want to make noise when you're in your house, then do it, because nobody is saying. But when you want to throw stones in the assembly, or you are sitting in a respectable club and you are throwing bottles to one another, to me that does not really qualify, or that kind of behavior makes you not really be the right person to really maintain an honor and respect that is required of such offices.
The last paragraph of that story on page 7 of the Standard says that in June, the ward reps exchanged blows over claims that some of them were planning to impeach Governor Onyango Oloo. And the question I want to ask the two of you is it a case of the executive interfering with the assemblies, or are they people who just choose to be unruly?
I think let me go first before Gladys, because Gladys may have more information. The issue is MCAs have become rogue. They are holding their speakers at ransom. They want them to be given all the niceties with regard to particularly travel. Like the case of Nairobi County, there was a pending bill of 66 million because people say, let me go with my own money and then you will pay. I'm very happy that over 65 billion has been frozen, because now it's only on essential travel that these people must go out of the country. That is what it's like. It's a carrot and stick. You use that so that you get support, and you know the problem with that is that it is insatiable. You know, if you give today, tomorrow it becomes like that. Then of course issues to do with tenders, issues to do with favors here and there. So speakers cannot sustain these demands, especially when you are reasonable. Look at somebody of the caliber of Onyango Oloo. you see. These are not people who can entertain nonsense. Because for me, it's just nonsense. Listen to that MCA called Jambi, what she was talking about, Elach. Look at the quality of speakers that are being impeached. They are not just your usual people.
Sure.
So there is a disconnect. We used to think that this time around we have more quality, educated, exposed MCAs. But I was told by one of the speakers that it doesn't matter even if one has a PhD. When they are on the floor of the house and whatever, they just behave the same. And it is true. They just behave like those former conjurers. Sorry to be a bit harsh on them, but they have not earned our respect. They have not graduated to become real legislators of almost a federal kind of government. And I think we need to look at data from the Senate, and Senator Midhika is here, and even the National Assembly, how we can really curtail this kind of behaviors. We need to secure the tenures of speakers, just like we have in the National Assembly and the Senate, because MCAs have this misguided notion that because they are the ones who elected the speakers, so they are at their mercy. Yeah. So I think personally that is where we need to look at, and also to look at ways in which we could strengthen the standing orders. Currently we have a challenge because the courts have ruled that the position of the deputy speaker is untenable. I mean, how on earth can you not have a deputy speaker of a county assembly? So when you have thrown out the speaker, then you are forced to elect another one. And remember, the time these people are electing speakers is when it's like a tea boom or a coffee boom. That's when they are most marketable. People are even hoarded into hotels and where they are, you know, and there is a price for every head. So they miss, they reminisce this. And partly I can understand the MCAs because of the demands on the ground with regard to social welfare issues. So anything that can help them to make money when they have fully committed their salaries to car loan and mortgage, it means they are really barely surviving. Yeah, the demands are there. So we need to look at this from that point of view.
Allow me to go just add to compliment what Maura has said.
Okay.
Because I totally agree with him. But say that it is out of that background that we came with the impeachment procedure bill. I'm the vice chairman of the Legal Affairs Committee, which is before the Senate to provide for a system of how you can impeach a speaker. To really be able to ensure that they are not held at ransom, yeah? And the other thing probably is that I must also push on the MCAs because as he is saying, because of pressure, social pressures on the ground, they just want to push to doing something that is completely legal. I really sympathize with the speakers because I've shared with a number of speakers and the kind of demands that are being put them. But I tell them to really remain firm because some of the things that I'm being asked to do are completely illegal. And these MCAs do not understand the effects of that kind of those actions or behavior because very soon, if the EACC or the criminal investigation departments was to pounce on them, then there will be problems. Yeah.
Right, Honorable Wanga Fendley on that.
Yeah, I think I just want to associate with the sentiments that have been shared by both Senator Maura and Senator Linturi. It is very unfortunate what's happening in our county assemblies. And the fact that we are not hearing debate on development. We are not hearing debate on the county budgets and what the county budgets are going to do. I mean, even if you ask how many bills have been passed by the county assemblies, are there any, or is it just always physical war? It's very unfortunate that, like for example, in Homa Bay, the MCAs, some of the MCAs even physically assaulted the speaker, who's a woman, beat her up, strangled her, threw chairs at her, and I think some of these things are completely unacceptable. That there is executive interference in some cases is also true, because many executives would want county assemblies in shambles so that they're able to go with anything goes on their end. But then also, we have to. The Senate has to look seriously at. I'm happy about the impeachment procedures bill. That's good, but then there has to be. These counties must institutionalize, processes, procedures, so that people don't think they can just come. I was saying here a couple of months back that I can't just go to the Speaker of the National Assembly and tell him I want a trip, I must get a trip. It doesn't matter if there's a budget or no budget. It can't happen. Yeah. There has to be, so some of these procedures must be institutionalized. There has to be capacity built so that as we move, people know what they are entitled to and what they are not entitled to, so that the speakers are not at the mercy, you know, I must get this, and if I don't get, even the clerks, you know, people think they can just impeach clerks, remove them, return them if they can't give trips, and so on and so forth. So I think the institutionalization of the procedures, the rules, the, you know, what must be followed, and close monitoring of these assemblies. I think the Senate must look very, very seriously at that. And that's why we sometimes say the Senate should focus on these matters of our counties. You know, because sometimes the Senate is just going all over the place. Every problem the National Assembly has done, they're
on
doing.
very dangerous ground.
So at the end of the day, no, I don't want to bring that. I didn't want to bring that debate. But what I want to say is, Senate must focus on some of these things, you know, so that our assemblies are mentored. You know, we move together with them. But at the same time, ESCC should move in, because this is ethics, issue, matters of ethics, you know, and so on and so forth.